Welcome to Northwoods Angling. I am your host for the evening, Blake Bednar. We're in Jacob's custom rod building room, and what we have planned is something special. We're in between seasons, so what we're gonna teach you is how to pour lead jig heads. Stay tuned, we've got a heck of an episode for you. So what we've got going on today is we reached out to our tackle sponsor, Bottom Dwellers Tackle. He carries a full assortment of do-it molds, jig molds, also sinker molds, split shot molds, anything under the sun that Do-It sells, Dave carries. We're going to be pouring aspirin jig heads and teardrop jig heads. These are great options for fishing rivers. These are real low snag type of jigs. You can fish rocks, timber, all kinds of stuff. Anywhere that the fish hang out, these guys will find them. So an important thing to keep in mind when you begin to pour your lead jig heads is safety first. Lead is inherently dangerous, especially when you bring it to a molten state. Safety first. Whenever dealing with lead, it is very, very important to cover all your bases to prevent any kind of burns, any kind of inhalation. If you're doing this at home, ventilation is key. If you have the opportunity, do it in an open environment. We're doing it in Jacob's rod building room because he has an air exchange system that sucks the air out and a fan on the other side to put fresh air in. So safety is key. A good pair of leather gloves is also your best friend. Burns on the hand, not something that you want to run into. So a nice thick pair of rawhide gloves is something very critical to what we're going to be doing today. Put these bad boys on. Here's our jig head molds right here. Before we started, we heated up the lead. One thing, little pointer that'll help you guys to pour better is to preheat your mold cavities before you begin to pour. When these are cold, they cool the lead way too fast, and that's not what you want. You'll get an incomplete pour, partial jig heads. So if you take your propane torch and you heat these things up ahead of time, it'll help you out a great deal. Now the good part about these molds is they cover a wide variety of sizes, from 5/8 on this one all the way down to 1/16 to cover all different kinds of river fishing situations. Different depths, different current. So we've got this mold heated up, and next we're going to show you guys our hook selection. I'm going to take my gloves off for a moment. What you're going to want to do is be real careful not to burn your fingers. We've got 1/0, 2/0, and 3/0 hook sizes. They fit into the mold accordingly. Obviously the 1/0 size is the smallest and the 3/0 is the largest. So what we need to do is pick through these. They kind of get tangled into a heck of a little web. And very carefully lay these into position. For the 1/16 ounce and 1/8 ounce size, we're going to use the 1/0 size. For the 3/16 and 1/4 ounce, we're going to use 2/0 size. And for the remaining 3 cavities, which will be used for large swim baits, plastic soft baits, we're using the 3/0 size. Okay. So what we're going to do is fold the mold closed, being careful to leave the hooks lay flat. Now it's completely sandwiched shut. What we want to do So I'm going to move my hooks off to the side. They're kind of in a little plastic box. They melt very, very quick. Move my stool off to the side. I'm right-handed, so I want to maintain as much dexterity as possible. So this stuff flows like water when it's nice and heated up. Now that we have the lead poured in place, we're just going to go ahead and open up the mold, and they actually cast really nice that time. So it's hot lead, you're going to want to be careful. You only have to leave these in for a few seconds. The lead dries incredibly fast, cools off. We're going to put them ones off to the side. Common question that we come across, whether you're building jig heads or heavy sinkers for catfishing, is where to find the lead. Tire shops, they typically have lead wheel weights that they keep off to the side. It's a hazardous waste, so they don't exactly just throw them away, they collect them. If you go into your local tire shops, oftentimes they will give you this stuff for absolutely free. Another great resource is roofers. If you know a roofer in your list of friends or family, a lot of times old roofing flashing is made out of lead. That's another great resource. Or recycling centers. Oftentimes this will be a resource that you have to pay for at a recycle center, but it's still much cheaper than ordering it online or buying your pre-made jigs or sinkers. So them are things to look out for when you're trying to procure your lead. All right, so the next step in the process, now that you've got your lead poured onto each one of the jigs, we've only done a small batch for you guys today. Nobody wants to watch us pour jigs all night long. Is powder painting. You can use nail polish, you can use liquid paints, but what we've found best to be used are these powder paints, and you bake them on. And the benefit they have there is just like powder coating. It's a very tough shell. It doesn't chip off, it doesn't flake off very easily, and it's available in a very wide variety of different colors. So we're just going to focus on one color to give you guys an idea of what we're doing today to save a little bit of time. And what we'll go with here is this green chartreuse color. So what I'm going to do is I've got this little contraption that I've made up, and it's called a fluid bed. And what it does, I have a small aerator here, and it pumps air through an adjustable valve into this PVC union that is sandwiched with a coffee filter in between. So when we pour our powder paint into here, it kind of bubbles up. So what you want to do is heat up the jig heads before you dip them into the powder paint so that it's nice and uniform, and the heat is actually what gets the paint to cling to the lead. And gets it ready for the powder to stick. And that's all it takes. What you're going to want to do for the drying process is hang it on something. Typically a string works really, really well. And we'll go through our entire pile. Pretty easy process. We're just heating up each one of the jig heads, dipping it in the paint, tap off the excess, hang it up to dry. Each one only takes a few seconds. This can save you a lot of money. Now we're going to show you an advanced Northwoods technique that absolutely drives the fish crazy. Take our Sharpie marker, grab one of the bigger ones so you can see the detail a little bit easier. You can leave them plain, you can add your name, you can draw a design, you can draw a little happy smiley face on them, you can do whatever you want. Chances are a fish is going to eat them no matter what you do to them. So use your imagination, have a little bit of fun. Having fun is the name of the game, and saving money is the byproduct. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully we scratched the fishing itch. It's the off season, there's not a lot to do. Everything that we used today can be found in our description links below. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for future episodes.